More now on Donald Trump's new policy on Cuba. Vito Echevarria is a senior advisor with Cuba Ventures Corporation. It's a Canadian-based consultancy that advises international businesses on doing business and investing in Cuba, and he's joining us live now. Thanks very much indeed for being with us. How do you think that this policy is going to affect businesses which have already invested in Cuba?
Unfortunately, Donald Trump, even though he created quite a scare when he first announced that he was going to reverse Obama's policies for Cuba, by the time he made his announcement in Miami today, it turns out he only made some minor changes. In terms of businesses, he's restricting American companies away from doing any kind of transactions, any business with Cuban entities that are controlled by its military, in particular Gaesa. So basically, there's some wiggle room left, if you will, for American companies to be able to engage in other sectors of the Cuban economy. Then you have the situation with travel. Under Trump, what he wants to do apparently is do away with international American travel to Cuba and revert back to a policy where Americans can still travel to Cuba in groups for educational as well as cultural purposes. So, basically, it's not as bad of a change as people thought it would be. And, some would say that he actually caved in to a certain degree to corporate pressure in the United States. That is, those companies that are interested in doing more trade with Cuba, which is growing, actually.
Having said that, the response within Cuba itself, and amongst the people of Havana that we've been able to talk to, the response has not been positive about this. They say it as a rollback to the times of sanctions and embargoes that happened previously before the Obama administration's freeing up of those sanctions. Is there a risk that we are, in fact, returning just to the same policies that we had before and just hoping for the best that something will change?
Yeah, it does appear to be the case, but this is Trump that we're dealing with here, and at the end of the day, what he wanted from Cuba is a so-called better deal. So we feel that he's using this as a tactic to get a better deal from the Cubans in terms of certain issues, certain grievances between the two countries, in particular compensation claims that the United States still has with Cuba, which total with interest $8 billion. So if the two sides are able to resolve that issue in the coming in the near future, that would be a very positive step in the right direction. So I feel, like I said, this is a tactic that Trump is doing right now in order to convince the Cubans to step forward and negotiate a better deal at that level and some other areas as well.
Vito Echevarria, thank you very much indeed for your time.